So oftentimes a lot of people will see my naked pictures online or see me hosting this YouTube channel with my clothes off and say, gosh, Kaelin, how did you ever become so confident to just let it all, literally and metaphorically, hang out? They say, I bet you've always been this way. You've always just been somebody who is just imbued with a lot of body positivity and confidence and feeling comfortable in your skin. To which I emphatically reply, hell no. If you had met me even a decade ago, not even, you would have never seen me with even my shirt off in public. I was somebody who was absolutely terrified to be seen in either a physical way or a metaphorical way, because I learned growing up that to be seen was dangerous. To be seen meant that you would be attacked, that people would hate you. And so I learned to cover up, to hide, and to doubt myself. I was somebody who wanted to disappear and blend in more than anything else so I wouldn't get hurt. So how did I go from being a never nude to being somebody who really enjoys social nudity and just letting it all be there? That's what today's video is about. So hi, if you haven't met before, my name is Kaelin. I am an ecstatic spirituality coach, meaning that I help people reconnect with their radiant, joyful, vibrantly alive inner selves. I host this YouTube channel, Ecstatic Self, where we explore the intersection of spirituality, sex and sexuality, finding belonging, and being a more authentic, genuine, joyful you. Now, if you want to hear me talk more in depth about these topics we're exploring today, I would recommend checking out my 2 books. My first one was a nonfiction book called Journey to the Ecstatic Self, which is about learning to love and accept yourself. And then the second book is a fiction novel, kind of illustrating through metaphor the journey I've gone on to love and accept and be more comfortable in my own skin. So let's go back a couple years. Me in my teenage years, early to mid 20s, I was a very different person. Very shy, very timid, didn't know myself. Back then I was working as a professional actor, and one of the most frequent pieces of feedback I would get from people was, I don't know who you are. You seem really unauthentic, you seem really guarded, and I can't get to see the real you. And at the point I really didn't know what they were saying. I was like, I am being authentic, this is me, this is the best I can. Lo and behold, they were right. Into my mid-20s, I would start exploring my sexuality. I would have sex for the first time when I was 25 years old. I would eventually come out as gay and then bisexual, or I don't know what. I'd fall in love. I'd end up marrying the most amazing man I've ever met. I left the cult I was a part of that was keeping me limited and indoctrinated in some unhealthy psychology, and I really started to bloom into the person that I am today. I can remember when I was probably 23, 24 years old, I had a callback with American Crew. They're a hair product company, and during the callback for this modeling gig, they asked us to all strip down to our underwear, and I can remember viscerally shaking when they asked me to do it. And I got back to my car afterwards and I started hyperventilating. I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt so uncomfortable and so violated, and it so pushed beyond the boundaries of what was acceptable to me. So let's be clear, not that long ago, the prospect of even me just stripping down to my skivvies was enough to send me almost into a panic attack, which seems crazy based on the fact that here I am talking to thousands of people totally in the buff. So where did this fear come from? Well, for me growing up, I was tremendously bullied, horrendously bullied, to the point that I am shocked that I'm still here. Like, the fact that I did not commit suicide as a young person is, in retrospect, flabbergasting to me, because I was told day in and day out that I was worthless, that I was unlovable, that I didn't deserve to live. I was mocked constantly, everywhere I went, in school, out of school. I sat alone every day at lunch, last person picked every gym class. Like, life was a living hell for me. And so I learned very quickly that the most important thing to do was to hide, to disappear, because if people didn't see me, then I wouldn't be vulnerable, then I wouldn't be attacked, because to be seen was dangerous. To be seen meant you would get hurt. Now, as luck or irony would have it, I ended up then wanting to pursue a career as a professional actor. So think about the dichotomy existing here. One part of my brain is like, yes, I'm going to go on stage, I'm going to go in front of the cameras, I'm going to go into rooms and ask people to look at me and see me and value me and stand out. And then another part of my brain is saying, hide, don't let them see the real you, cover yourself up, protect yourself. Up until probably my mid to late 20s, every audition I went on would send me into this tizzy. I would feel horrible afterwards. I would need to go take a nap. I would even when I was younger, I would sometimes actually even black out the amount of stress that going into an audition room would cause me. And I didn't feel in the slightest confident about myself. I didn't feel sexy or beautiful or worthy. I was using these situations, these audition rooms, these casting directors, these performances as a way to try and grasp for worthiness, to have somebody tell me that I was worthy, to have somebody choose me me or applaud me or cast me and tell me I was lovable, to tell me I was deserving, to tell me I had self-worth, rather than having it myself. So what happened? How did that scared, covered up, afraid, younger person grow into somebody like I am today? Well, there's a few different things at play. Let's just start with the pure physical, the naked stuff. How did I start getting comfortable being naked? Well, it started around the time I began exploring my sexuality and having sex with people, and I really found nude spaces to be really titillating and exciting. I would start going to Korean spas and saunas where in the wet areas you have to be fully naked around other men, and I found it such a liberating and positive experience. Furthermore, I would go with some acquaintances or some friends, and we'd find that the experience of being naked together bonded us more deeply. We felt more connected, more alive, more honest with each other, and became better friends. Also, too, I started to recover from some of the earlier trauma I had from my peers about my body. When I was very young, I was on the swim team through probably 3rd or 4th grade, 5th grade, and because my rib cage is concaved inwards, I would get made fun of all the time for my physical appearance when I took my clothes off. And then add into the fact that I was always super gangly and skinny and physically awkward and always tripping or dropping things. I was told I wasn't beautiful, I wasn't sexy, I wasn't somebody who people would want to see unclothed. Now, I will say I have thankfully developed a body that I do feel good about and I do feel sexy in, and I do get feedback that people find me attractive now, but this process of learning to love and accept my body happened long before that was the case. Long before I started leaning up and putting on muscle, I was still starting to explore my confidence and my experience of engaging in social nudity. But that in and of itself is not what made me confident. There were a few things that I think really came into play. The first is meditation. You'll notice I teach a weekly meditation class here on YouTube because for me, really working to quiet and center my brain has been the only thing that has created a true lasting change in my life. Positive thinking on its own, I don't believe does it. Just trying to change your habits, I don't believe does it. But when we really enter this state of mindfulness and meditation and flow, then we start creating new neural pathways. Our brain develops greater neuroplasticity. There are so many things that happen when you enter a state of meditation that science and research is now starting to explore to show that it creates greater change in one's life. The second thing is cultivating bravery. Now, a lot of people tend to think that courage and bravery is just something you either have or you do not have. But I personally believe, and other great thinkers believe, that bravery is a skill that is acquired. We practice courage every day by making the difficult choice, by doing that thing that maybe scares us a little bit, but we know is for our own good. And so for me, for example, being so afraid of dating and sex and getting to engage with other people, I really pressed into that discomfort. I wanted to see myself as somebody who was brave and took chances. So my first year of coming out and dating, I went on almost 100 first dates. Most of them were just talking and walking and going for coffee, but I really wanted to put myself out there and get to know people and have an experience. And as I've gotten older, that truly has become one of the hallmarks of my life. How do I develop a feeling of self-worth? I start to recalibrate my self-worth based on how much bravery am I living with. I don't believe that fame or money or success is a good qualifier for how well of a life is being lived. Those things are transient, they're temporary, they're often outside the bounds of our own control. They're things that are usually just given to you. So then what is a lasting demarcator of a well-lived life? And for me, courage and bravery has become the gold standard by which I value myself. And as I've been practicing courage and bravery more, I find that I like myself more and that I have a lot more confidence. So tying that in with the idea of social nudity being a very positive thing, it creates better connections, it creates more leveling of the playing field, that people can put on less airs and be less inauthentic and hide behind labels when they're fully stripped down. It helped me start to connect my openness with my body with being more worthy because of the bravery in which I live. But another aspect too has been having somebody else value me. Through my experience of sexual encounters and romantic encounters and being in love and dating and getting married, having somebody else tell me that I am beautiful, I am worthy, I belong, that I am brave, that I am courageous, has made me really embrace those qualities and start to live them. I really do think one of the most unfortunate things about modern pop psychology is this notion of you have to do it alone, that we're all on this journey on our own and this is a solitary endeavor. The truth is we're all social creatures. We're meant to learn from each other. We're meant to learn our value, our worth, our status based on how other people treat us. And so when we surround ourselves with people who affirm our worth, affirm our value, affirm our courage, it's so much easier to be those things. Like, I count myself blessed beyond measure that I have this amazing husband who thinks I'm the most amazing person on the planet. And I feel the same way about him. Like, I don't know how I got somebody who's so beautiful and talented and smart and kind and spiritual and wonderful. And having him value me has given me greater confidence and self-worth. And I really do believe that it's possible for anyone to have that, because You can find someone, and I don't care how much money you have, how little, how good looking you are, how unattractive you feel. It doesn't matter. You can always find somebody who thinks you're amazing, just as you can always find somebody who thinks you're a total asshole and incompetent and don't know shit. Everybody experiences this. So can you find those individuals who affirm your worth, who affirm your value, who affirm that you have a right to take up space and be seen and be beautiful and luscious and delicious and own yourself? If you start surrounding yourself with those individuals who bolster you, then you will start to feel more courageous and maybe feel braver about stripping down, literally or again metaphorically. So for me, those are some of the main things of how I've become more confident. Meditation, surrounding myself with people who affirm my value, practicing courage, and then seeing the value and getting naked and letting it all hang out. Because I'm tired of living in a society that someone's value is based on the clothes they wear or their shoes or their job, but instead to affirm our value lies in our humanity. We exist, therefore we have value. And every sentient being on this planet is worthy of love and respect. Every one of us. And so when we get naked together, it's much more easy to connect with that humanness that really binds us all together. I'm Kaelin. This is Ecstatic Self. Thank you for your time. If you ever want to go deeper with this, feel free to reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. You can also check me out on my various social media platforms like Patreon, OnlyFans, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth. Namaste.